Tonight, a grim trial underway at the Ottawa courthouse. A mother and her former boyfriend charged with killing her infant son. Many federal public servants and others living in Canada tell us this commute is the worst.
How late?
It could range from 25 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes.
The daily trek from Canada to DND downtown as Ottawa's Worst Commute series continues, and we sit down with interim OC Transpo boss Troy Charter. And it is an Ottawa winter's silver lining streaking right through the core.
It's above zero. I figured, you know what? Why not? It's the last day. Live a little.
After a fabulous 56 days of skating on solid ice and more than 1 million visits, the Rideau Canal calls it goodnight. Good evening. We begin tonight with the criminal trial of an Ottawa couple accused of killing a 7-week-old baby back in 2021. Both the mother and her then boyfriend have pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder charges and are now making their case to a jury. CTV's Katie Griffin is back from court and joins us with the details. Katie.
Patricia, police had been called to a home in the Britannia area in October 2021 for a baby who wasn't breathing. His name was Colton. His mother and her boyfriend at the time are being represented by different lawyers who today tried to paint different pictures of the moments after the tragic incident.
A baby named Colton and what happened to him, now the focus of a criminal trial. His mother, Bravi Booth, and her former boyfriend, Patrick O'Connor, have pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder in his death. It was October 2021 when emergency crews were called to a home in the Britannia neighborhood for a baby who wasn't breathing. A police officer testified O'Connor told him Booth had fallen asleep breastfeeding and Colton fell off the bed, hitting his head on the bed frame, then the floor. He said the baby appeared to be okay, so he told Booth to go upstairs. O'Connor said he then fell asleep holding Colton facing him, and when he woke up, the child was cold to the touch and not breathing. Colton died in hospital. During cross-examination, Booth's lawyer asked the officer about O'Connor's reaction. Your opinion was that those tears and that emotional reaction did not appear genuine to you, correct? Yes, he replied. O'Connor's lawyer pushing back, saying the officer didn't document those thoughts in his notes because it was not your impression at the time that his response was fake. The officer replied that while it was a mistake not to include, he still had that inkling.
The trial is expected to last 8 weeks and hear from a number of witnesses, including paramedics who responded to the call and rushed Colton to the hospital. Patricia.
TV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, hundreds of Eastern Ontario residents are coming together to voice their opposition to the proposed high-speed rail line. It would connect Toronto and Quebec City, but could cut through rural communities such as Perth, sparking concerns about what it would mean for farmers and whether their land could be expropriated. CTV's Austin Lee was in Perth today and joins us now live with more. What are you hearing?
Well, Patricia, Alto held this open house in Perth earlier today, and hundreds showed up. I did hear from several farmers. They're worried that this new rail line could cut through their properties and split up communities.
A packed house at the Perth Lions Club Wednesday afternoon as homeowners and farmers voiced their opinions on a proposed high-speed rail line through Ontario and Quebec.
I'm not looking for jobs, but my kids and my grandchildren are going to be looking for jobs. I think if we want a prosperous economy, we need a transportation system for the 21st century, and this is going to be it.
Our concern is that rural communities will be bearing the brunt of the risk with a project like this, and will be reaping very few of the rewards.
The line would connect Toronto and Quebec City, with multiple stops including in Ottawa and Montreal. One possible route would cut through here, just north of Perth.
If you slice farms in half, you ruin the livelihoods of farmers, you change the nature of the entire industry, you potentially end the viability of communities.
Glenn McKenzie owns a farm near Balderson, right in the proposed path of the rail line. He's one of many residents raising concerns about the possibility of land expropriation.
If it were to come through our farm, it would end our ability to use whatever part of the land is on the other side of that line. And so it would probably end our farming career.
Alto, the Crown Corporation behind the plan, says where necessary, it will provide fair compensation for expropriated land.
We will sit down, we will see how we can mitigate. If we can't, we will negotiate in good faith and try to reach an agreement.
Area Conservative MPs against the proposal gathering signatures for a petition aimed at stopping the $60 to $90 billion project in its tracks.
Our national federal deficit right now is just under $80 billion. It's considered unsustainably large. Adding $90 billion onto that is just something we cannot financially sustain as a country.
Alto says the project will create more than 50,000 jobs and add more than $24 billion to Canada's annual GDP.
And Alto says to expect a more accurate path for the plan by the end of this year, with a final proposal by next year. But this project is not expected to be complete until at least 2040. The next open house for the project is set for tomorrow. It'll be held in Madoc, Ontario. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Austin Lee live for us tonight. Thank you. Still ahead, Formula One races and a tour of NFL stadiums are in his plans, and why not after a Hawkesbury man wins $55 million in a Lotto Max draw. That story coming up. Well, all good things must come to an end, at least for the season. In just a few hours, the Rideau Canal Skateway will officially close, and many were taking advantage of the sunshine and warm temperatures today for one final skate. Some people still out there tonight, including CTV's Peter Sperling, who joins us live from the canal. Peter.
Patricia, it's the last call to lace up and take advantage of the canal.
It's the first and last skate of the season on the Rideau Canal for Mark Northcott.
This was awesome.
He's making the most of the final day of skating.
So this is the one chance I got today was to do it. Wish I'd done more.
The world's largest skateway will officially close at 10 p.m. Wednesday as temperatures warm up.
But absolutely a phenomenal season. So many happy faces, so many smiling faces. So it's just been wonderful.
Million people.
Toby Nussbaum, CEO of the National Capital Commission, appearing on CTV Your Morning Ottawa, saying more than 1 million people visited the skateway this season.
Whenever we break 1 million, we're super happy. So, the crews did an amazing job of keeping the ice in really, really good shape.
And it felt like most of them came here for lunch or dinner, so we're very grateful for that.
The 56th season, open for 56 days, good for neighboring businesses. Skating, a draw for visitors from near.
Many people are smiling on the canal, so that's great.
And far. This family lives in Paris, France, but back in Canada for a visit. The canal, a must-see.
It's important for my daughter to see her roots in Canada as well and get a good skate on the canal.
Sun, warm temps, and skating in shorts.
Yeah, it's above zero. I figured, you know what? Why not? It's the last day. Live a little.
This skater, 36 kilometers so far, just on this day.
I love it. I particularly enjoyed it so much. Last season, I did 268.
It's awesome. Woo, enjoying it.
And no skate would be complete without a beaver tail.
It's a beautiful day out. It's the last day to go skate, so we figured we might as well go out and get some exercise. Get a bit of food after.
Now again, you have until 10 p.m. tonight to enjoy skating on the canal. Then it's it for the season. Now the ice, it's a little soft, but you know what? That's not stopping these guys from having fun.
No, not at all. Thanks so much, Peter. Again, we've been out here since 5 o'clock, and the ice, it's got a lot colder now than it was in the 6 o'clock hour because, the sun has set. So a little bit chillier. Maybe that's going to improve the conditions on the ice. Who knows? Taking a look, though, we did see a daytime high of about 7 degrees. We did anticipate our forecast weather, the Environment Canada, about 3 degrees, but with that sunshine, much warmer. It's cooled down a bit to 4 degrees here in the capital, about -2 in Kingston, 4 degrees in clear skies, really for parts of the valley. Tomorrow, it will be not as warm as what we saw today. And that's because we've got we've got clouds as well as cold sky, winds coming in. We've got easterly winds with gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. The daytime high will be around the freezing mark, but it'll feel closer to -2. Cloudy skies for our Thursday. It won't be until Thursday evening into Friday. We could see some freezing rain. Now, again, the canal, a lot of people just trying to get their last photo in here, Patricia. Again, not that most ideal for skating. However, people are enjoying a walk along the canal for the final night. You have until 10 p.m.
Well, as we continue our series on Ottawa's worst commute, tonight we're taking a trip from the West End into the downtown core. We received dozens of responses from federal public servants who said the commute from Canada South to the Department of National Defence building downtown is a daily grind and does not always go smoothly. On the OC Transpo trip planner, this journey is straightforward from Eagleson Road. Catch the number 60 bus to connect to the LRT Line 1 at Tunney's Pasture. From there, a train trip into downtown. But CTV's Dylan Dyson found out what happens when the buses run late.
So it's about 7:20 in the morning, and we are on Eagleson Road about to catch the number 60 bus. We are simulating a federal government workers trip into downtown. We're going to be headed to the Department of National Defence building. The bus is supposed to get here at 7:30, and we should be getting to work for 9 o'clock right on the dot. We'll see if we make it.
Our first bus was a few minutes late with the snow falling from early in the morning. Maybe it should have been expected, but a late start to the trip nonetheless.
Route 60.
Also getting on at our stop was Frank Kasuja, who works overnights at a nearby grocery store. His commute may be even worse than mine. He takes 3 buses plus the LRT to get to work from Gatineau.
3 hours. Coming 3 hours, about 3 hours.
The worst part about his commute?
Waiting. Because you miss one bus or one is delayed, most of the time it's like gotta wait half an hour for the next bus.
At Tunney's Pasture, we say goodbye to Frank to get on the LRT, where there is a delay. But that's nothing new for government worker Dorna, who says she is late to work frequently.
Half the time. Half the time.
And how late?
It could range from 25 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes.
It's this chaotic commute that dictates the rest of her day.
Not knowing how long it'll take me to get home. So for anyone who has responsibilities, whether it's childcare or any other kind of care, not knowing when you'll be able to get home to take care of your children.
More than 2 hours after boarding our first bus, we arrive at our last stop of the trip.
So I got off at the Rideau LRT station, walked through the mall, and here I am at the D&D building on the Mackenzie King Bridge, where the entrance is for the federal government workers. It's almost 9:40, so we're almost 40 minutes later than the OC Transpo trip planner said we would arrive at. But here we are at work, 40 minutes late, and we have to do it all again to go home at the end of the day.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
Well, coming up later in the newscast, we speak one-on-one with OC Transpo's interim general manager, Troy Carter, to discuss the city's transit troubles and when things could improve. Troy Charter, excuse me. The city is unveiling plans to greatly expand the number of cricket pitches in the city. The sport is growing quickly in popularity, but so is the opposition at one of the sites on the list. The plan is to build at least 5 new cricket pitches, including one at Beryl Gaffney Park, south of Barhaven. Others on the list, Millennium Park and François Dupuis District Park, both in Orleans. Bradley Craig Park in Stittsville. The city is also looking at the possibility of creating a pitch at the future Fernbank District Park in Stittsville. Another will be built at North District Park in Riverside South. But it's the one slated for a section of Beryl Gaffney Park that is sparking controversy. The city plans to build it in an open field currently used as an off-leash dog park. CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us with more on today's announcement. Kimberly.
Well, Patricia, for years, the pet-friendly Beryl Gaffney Park has served as a popular spot where kids play and neighbors let their dogs run freely. Now a portion in all of the current off-leash dog park is set to be replaced by a dedicated cricket pitch. And it's a move the residents say caught them off guard.
Twirl. Yeah, my girlie.
Beth Landstrom and her dog Penny are frequent visitors to Beryl Gaffney Park.
The ability to come here and take a break with our dog and have entire use of the park is something that we really depend on.
Hundreds of nearby residents and their furry friends use this open field off-leash dog park every day.
There really is no other place for a child to run through a field or to have a picnic, or for families for that matter, to be able to come and experience it.
But this area of the park is transforming. The city is investing about $1 million for upgrades, including building a dedicated cricket pitch over the open space.
There aren't enough cricket pitches. So we're adding to the cricket infrastructure in our city to support the growing population of cricket players. It's a growing sport, one of the fastest growing sports in our community.
This is part of a plan to build up to 6 cricket pitches across the city. The Beryl Gaffney pitch will be 100 meters by 125 meters with an additional 10 meters around the pitch. The existing gravel parking lot will be expanded for a total of 62 spaces.
This is a great news.
Ottawa Valley Cricket Association President Gaurav Arora says new pitches are needed and will be an economic boost to the neighboring communities.
This field will generate at least $10,000 to $15,000 every year. So city can use that money somewhere else. So it's not just free of cost because we rent, we pay money to city.
Community members say they feel blindsided and that there was little consultation beforehand with the city to go ahead with plans to build the cricket field here.
So this is just gone, and they're moving the entrance to the park over on that side. But then it completely cuts off our ability to use the park as a whole.
The pitch will take up the entirety of this field that we're standing on. The intersection as well to get into this park, it's not equipped. There's no turning lane, there's no stoplight. The traffic implications are huge.
There is no opening date for most of the planned cricket pitches, including the one at Beryl Gaffney, but the pitch at Millennium Park in Orleans, well, that's set to open in the summer of 2028. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Kimberly Fowler live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, turning now to the latest on the conflict in Iran. As the war enters its fifth day, the U.S. continues to strike targets across the country. A U.S. submarine sank an Iranian warship, the first time the Navy has struck an enemy ship since the Second World War. And U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says he expects the U.S. will have control of Iranian airspace in the coming days.
Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over.
Hegseth says the war is, quote, just getting started. According to the Iranian government, more than 1,000 people have been killed in strikes. And the war is causing market volatility around the world and driving up oil prices. Canadian drivers are already feeling it at the pumps. Gas prices in Ottawa went up overnight, hovering around $1.42 a litre today, and they are expected to rise another 5 cents by Friday. We have some exciting news to share about a colleague you know well. Graham Richardson is returning to CTV News as Ottawa Bureau Chief for CTV National News, working out of the Parliament Hill office. In addition to his many years as Chief News Anchor here at CTV News Ottawa, Graham brings a wealth of experience in political coverage and breaking news. Graham begins his new role March 23rd. We want to congratulate him, and we cannot wait.
I understand that the service levels that customers are experiencing right now is not what they expect, not what they deserve, and we're not satisfied with it either. So, the positive thing is we're all on the same page and that we know that we need to improve.
Well, coming up, it has been a tough 2026 for OC Transpo. As our Ottawa's Worst Commute series continues, we sit down with interim OC Transpo boss Troy Charter. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. Hanging out on the Canal, a lot of people getting their first and last skate of the season. And Quinn, Emily, how was the ice?
Very slushy.
Very slushy.
Very slushy. It's doable, but it's not very good at all.
But it really hasn't stopped John. Where is he? Just skating around with the puck, trying to get that last skate in. Again, you have until 10 p.m. tonight before the Canal officially closes for this season. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's 4 degrees right now in the capital, and it's going to get a little bit cooler overnight with overnight lows about -2.
Today's Snow Report brought to you by Some Edelweiss, where happiness falls from the sky.
Here is today's snow report. No new snow at Edelweiss, but a nice solid base there. And 20 runs are available for skiers. Taking a look elsewhere in the region, 4 of 6 lifts at Mont Cascade, 16 runs, all 3 lifts at Calabogie Peaks, and 19 runs at Fort Lodge, 3 of 4 lifts and 11 runs available. And at Camp Fortune, 4 of 7 lifts and 14 runs.
For the quickest access to the mountain, purchase your tickets online, summitedelweiss.com. Grab your pass at the pickup box and head straight to the lift.
Well, The interim head of OC Transpo says he uses public transit occasionally, but thinks about it all the time. Troy Charter says he's well aware of the problems and is pledging to make things better. We sat down earlier today at OC Transpo headquarters to talk about Line 1 issues, the East Extension, and the shortage of drivers, mechanics, and buses. We are this week doing a series called Ottawa's Worst Commute. And we have had an endless number of submissions for this feature. How does that make you feel?
It's hard to hear, but at the same time, we know that we're facing some challenges right now, and our customers are feeling it as well. The entire team here, you feel that sense of frustration from our customers. So it's hard to hear, but we know where we are. We've got good plans to be able to return to our full service levels and improve things for our customers. So that's where we need to focus on, and that's what I've got our team focused on right now.
The problems on the Line 1 and the length of time it's taken to deal with that. Why are we still at 21 trains weeks later?
So we're making sure that we're going through all the necessary steps, the right steps to ensure that our fleet can continue to run safely and reliably. We do have a good safe service right now with the number of vehicles in service, and we want to make sure that when we expand the number of vehicles, that the right procedures are in place, the right processes, and our maintainer, RTG, and Alstom, they have all the right tools and the right. We've been saying verification and validation of their processes. We need to make sure that there's no surprises, that the vehicles continue to run safely. So we're, because it's a technical issue. That needs to be resolved.
Have there been surprises along the way?
No,
in the testing?
No, there hasn't. But we need to make sure we do our due diligence and take the time and take the steps to do that. And I know that's hard for our customers because they just want to see our service back to the reliable levels that we're seeing before this. But at this time, we're taking the steps, we're taking our time, we're doing our due diligence, and things are progressing. We are getting close. I don't have a timeline yet at this point, but I can say that things are progressing and we're getting very close to being able to return to our service levels.
Because we're seeing those pictures of people packed into the cars in the single train. So getting to 26 trains, you don't have a timeline on that?
I don't have a timeline for that, but our focus is on the full return of the full fleet.
Okay. East Line extension. The potential substantial completion date today, March 4th. Are we there?
We're getting very close to that. We should be able to make an announcement later today or tomorrow on that. So, but it's an exciting time. It's exciting that the East Extension is almost here. I know our customers in the East End are looking forward to that. So, but we should be able to make an announcement on that very, very shortly.
Do any of the issues that we're seeing on Line 1, are they going to impact the testing that continues from here on the East Extension?
So yes, we need to make sure that we have we return our fleet. So we need to address the spalling issue that's happening right now, and have the right processes in place and containment measures so that we can expand the fleet to get into trial running. So that's the next step. But we've been working on those two things in parallel, both the managing the technical issue with the spalling and working on the construction side of things for the East Extension.
So commuters actually getting on that East Extension, they're watching this in Orleans right now. Still looking like spring then?
We still are on track for Q2 of this year to be able to launch the service, and that's our focus, right? So a couple things need to happen, but we still are on track for Q2 of this year, yes.
So you got trains and you got buses. Lots of issues there too. Of course, we know the aging fleet, the delayed deliveries, all of that. Mechanics, bus drivers. Can we talk about both of those areas? Why are there not enough mechanics to deal with some of the issues with these buses? Why is more not being done to recruit?
We are doing a lot to recruit our mechanics, both internal and external, right? So there is a supply shortage. It's not something that's unique to Ottawa. It's affecting the entire industry. Mechanics are hard to come by. So we've been, 2 years ago, we refreshed our apprentice program, and we have 19 mechanics, or soon-to-be mechanics, that are going through the process, and over the next year to 2 years, they'll be graduating. So we've not focused solely on outside recruitment and bringing people in. We've been focused on developing our staff as well in-house, and that was taking a longer-term view. With the new collective agreement, with new pay rates that are more competitive within the industry, we're now actually seeing some positive results in terms of our ongoing recruitment initiatives to bring on more mechanics.
I've listed off a lot of things. What's the number one issue for you in terms of what you are dealing with? What's the one thing that you go to bed thinking about at night in terms of issues with OC Transpo?
The two issues that are top of mind right now, I'll narrow it down to two, is obviously bus availability and onboarding our ZEB buses or zero-emission buses so that we can improve our service. And then the other piece is the technical issue on line 1 with regards to the spalling. Those are the two issues that we really need to stay on top of.
Let me talk about the riders that are watching this. Obviously, it's a big city geographically, and some people understand some of those issues, and they're living in the suburbs. They're trying to get downtown. But I'm watching some of these stories this week and what's to come, and an hour and a half, a 2-hour commute, because maybe the train is too crowded to get on, or the bus doesn't come at that particular time when it's supposed to. I mean, how, even given there's a plan to change things, how do you justify that to the people watching, the people riding regularly right now?
You know, I got to start off by saying I understand that the service levels that customers are experiencing right now is not what they expect, not what they deserve, and we're not satisfied with it either. So, you know, the positive thing is we're all on the same page and that we know that we need to improve.
And you can watch the full interview with Troy Charter on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, it finally feels like spring is on the way in the capital. The ice is melting on the Rideau River near Strathcona Park. Temperatures reached 7 degrees this afternoon, and the sun was shining all day long. But those mild temperatures and some rain in the forecast this week could lead to some flooding. A flood watch has been issued for the Rideau Valley watershed in the North Gore area and for the Stevens Creek and Taylor Drain area in North Gore. Officials say widespread significant flooding is not expected at this time. As we take a full look on the forecast, that melt affecting the canal a little bit as well. Certainly it was softer when I was on there this morning. I can only imagine by day's end. But other than that and the canal closing tonight, the mild temperature is good news for most people, I think, Jackie.
I mean, mild temperature is good for sure. I see somebody running in shorts in the dark here. So there are a lot more runners out as well, not just on the canal, but along the bridge, along the sidewalks as well. But as the sun has set, it is actually much cooler than what we saw. I mean, again, we saw a daytime high of 7 degrees today, and it felt a little bit warmer with the sunshine, but it has since cooled. We are sitting around 4 degrees, and again, the sun set now closer to 6 o'clock. The southerly winds are still moving in throughout eastern Ontario, so overnight lows are still pretty mild. -7 for here in Ottawa, -6 along Cornwall and Brockville, along Trenton, -5. It's about -8 for Petawawa. And then as we look towards tomorrow's daytime highs, it's going to feel much colder, and it will be much colder than what we saw today. Daytime high for Ottawa is around -2, really around the freezing mark as well, because we have wind gusts coming in about 20 to 40 kilometers per hour coming in from the east. And the good news is it won't last very long. We are anticipating some cloudy skies for our Thursday, just south of Kingston and in and around Kingston for Thursday night. We could see some freezing rain or light rain moving through, but again, it won't last very long. We are anticipating double-digit temperatures by the end of the week. Now, right now in Atlantic Canada, temperatures above zero, around 4 degrees in Fredericton, 5 in Halifax. Here along the stretch of Windsor to Toronto to Ottawa, temperatures hovering between 5 and 6 degrees, about -3 in Thunder Bay with a little bit of weather activity and snow moving through. Still, things are cold for our friends in the prairies where temperatures are still around -10, -15 degrees. But Vancouver, we actually saw very similar conditions. They're at 11 degrees right now. And again, we were just shy of about 7, 8 degrees here in the capital. Now, for Thursday going into Friday, in terms of precipitation, we won't see much. We'll just see a lot of cloud cover. It won't be until Saturday, though, that we can anticipate steady periods of rain showers moving through eastern Ontario. Now, the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Presser Law Firm, by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. And we can see that Thursday is about -2. Friday, 7 degrees, the daytime high. Saturday, yes, we'll have periods of rain. The daytime high will be 13 degrees. Again, do not forget to move your clocks an hour forward. When we get into Sunday, the daytime high is 7 degrees. And I'm liking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Patricia, because we're going to anticipate an average of 11 to 12 degrees to kick off the start of next week. So good thing we are saying goodbye to the canal for today. Conditions not quite the greatest, but we are closing out the 56th season on the 56th day.
Double digits coming up. Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate it. Well, hitting the jackpot in Hawkesbury has happened again. The Eastern Ontario town had a $50 million win back in 2011, and now, 15 years later, a $55 million prize has just been claimed. CTV's Steph Keys joins us live with more on the lotto winner, Steph.
Patricia, Francois Masse is taking it all in after winning the $55 million Lotto Max jackpot earlier this year. The Hawkesbury resident says it's been an out-of-body experience.
3, 2, 1.
A big reaction to a big prize, and he says it all came from a free ticket for the January 9th Lotto Max draw. The retiree recalls doing groceries when it dawned on him he had a ticket to redeem. He tricked his kids into coming over by saying he had a late Christmas gift for them, and once they realized just how rich he had become, he says there were a lot of happy tears. And here's some of what he had to say when he went to pick up the big check.
Felt like, wow, I won $55 million. When I say it again today, it's just empowering, because I knew then that this money could bring a lot of happiness to a lot of people around me.
So how does he plan to spend it, you ask? He plans to arrange a family trip to celebrate the win and then plan some bucket list travel, including attending Formula One races, touring NFL stadiums, and going on golf trips. Francois Masse adding there could be a new home and car in his future, and people in Hawkesbury are celebrating with him.
Lucky guy, yeah, lucky. It's luck, right? That's lottery.
Hopefully they got good friends. Hopefully they got a nice family arrangement as well, and hopefully they got some charities that they feel strongly about that they can give the money to.
And again, in Hawkesbury, some longtime residents may be having deja vu. That's where a lucky lotto winner won a $50 million Lotto Max jackpot back in 2011. The winning ticket for the Tuesday, March 3rd Lotto Max draw was sold in Toronto, and OLG says there was one winning ticket for that $75 million jackpot. As they say, it pays to play. And every time you hear these stories, Patricia, with these big wins, it's certainly tempting to start.
And never buy the tickets. You got to buy. You got to be in it to win it. All right. Thank you. CTV's Stephen Keys live for us tonight.
$70. Oh, my God.
Well, just ahead, Ottawa bylaw officers have been busy since the introduction of paid on-street parking in Westboro, Wellington West, and Hintonburg. We'll share how many tickets they've handed out since September. New details tonight on just how many drivers are getting parking tickets in Westboro, Wellington West, and Hintonburg since the city introduced paid on-street parking in the neighborhoods last fall. Parking in the area used to be free. That changed in September when the city activated roughly 700 paid parking spaces along Wellington Street West, Richmond Road, and adjacent side streets. The rate is $3 an hour. Since then, bylaw officers have issued more than 8,000 tickets. Many drivers and shop owners in the area say the new system is doing more harm than good.
$70. Oh my God.
It's really hard to have a compelling reason for people to come out and enjoy your business. And the city, I think, totally missed the mark by adding yet another layer of friction for brick and mortar businesses by implementing this paid parking.
Usually people here sit for hours, to enjoy their coffee, a conversation, and that has been definitely something that they have to have in the back of their minds, just like saying, hey, I need to run and put more money in my meter.
The city says the program was designed to encourage parking turnover and support local businesses. Well, now some other stories you need to know right now. The Kingston Hospital is treating people in unconventional spaces as it deals with a record number of patients. The Kingston Health Sciences Centre said it had more than 630 patients at its 2 sites last week, well above the 570 beds available. The hospital does not say why it's seeing a spike. It's warning of longer wait times in the ER and says patients may be assigned to a bed in an unconventional space that has been converted to patient care. Well, it will soon cost more to get a Canadian passport. The federal government is increasing fees on March 31st. It says the price adjustment reflects inflation and the growing cost of producing secure travel documents. The cost of a 5-year adult passport will increase by $2.50 to $122.50, and the price of a 10-year adult passport will be $163.50.
How are high school students going into university supposed to afford tuition fees like this?
A large crowd gathered at Queen's Park earlier today to protest the Ford government's changes to OSAP. The province is reducing the number of grants available to post-secondary students and putting a greater emphasis on loans.
For McDavid to Draisaitl, in for McDavid, back across Bouchard, shoots, scores!
The Sens were in Edmonton last night taking on the Oilers, holding on to a lead until late in the third when the Oilers forced overtime and then scored with Brady in the box to win 5-4. The Sens continue their road trip with a stop in Calgary tomorrow night. Another late one. Puck drop is 9 p.m.
Careful in terms of the language that you use with him, but in a way that's consistent with what you really think.
Just ahead, Carney shares what it's like to have discussions with U.S. President Donald Trump at a fireside chat in Australia. Prime Minister Mark Carney is now in Australia as he continues his international trade trip. And in a candid fireside chat earlier today, he offered some insight into his conversations with President Donald Trump. CTV's Abigail Beeman is traveling with the Prime Minister and has more from Sydney.
You don't want to say anything in public that you can't back up.
At a fireside chat at a top Australian think tank, Prime Minister Mark Carney pulled back the curtain on dealing with world leaders, starting with Donald Trump.
It's quite different in private. It's much more. He is more interested in your viewpoint on various things.
While he said Chinese President Xi Jinping spent 10 minutes in his first meeting discussing how he wanted personal interactions to go.
I interpret it. Don't lecture me in public. Bring issues to me directly.
And when he said central bankers have more fun than prime ministers, illustrated by a story about mixing a time-crunched decision with top European wines, Carney used the F word.
You know, tick, tick, tick. And he's like, well, have this one, but, you know, the Pinot Grigio. And I'm like, and then he finishes it, and he says, okay. Listen, we have an hour.
Earlier in the day, Carney held a series of meetings and announced a deal to further investments by pension funds in both Australia and Canada. Australia has had trouble entering Canada's market.
I think we've struggled to find the opportunities, and this dialogue is in part about unlocking those opportunities. So as they look to private capital, we really want to be at the front of the queue.
It's no longer what or why, it's how. And that's what the Prime Minister is fixing here, is the how to make sure that they can invest more in Canada. This is good.
And that's music to the ears of this recently retired Canadian couple on holiday in Australia.
So I would love to see more diversification with equal-minded, similar-minded folks like the Australians. That's just a no-brainer.
Canada's Prime Minister will next address Australia's Parliament and meet with their cabinet and Prime Minister. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Sydney.
They were really pushing me and, yes, frightening me into thinking that something devastating would happen.
Just ahead, another warning about door-to-door contractors. We'll share the story of an Ontario woman out nearly $50,000 after an apparent scam. With spring approaching, there may soon be more door-to-door contractors pitching their services and looking for work. But you have to be careful of possible scams. CTV's Pat Foran has the story of one woman who lost nearly $50,000.
I can't believe that it happened. It's almost like a nightmare.
Colleen McMichael of Etobicoke says it was a day in late January when she heard someone knocking.
Two gentlemen came to my door and said that they were in the neighborhood and they were taking ice and snow out of all of the eaves troughs.
McMichael agreed, and they went on top of her home to take a look.
The two men went up on the roof and they were there less than 10 minutes. They came down and told McMichael her roof was in horrible condition and needed to be dealt with right away.
And that there was actually a hole in the roof and that there was an animal in the roof.
She was told there was mold, rotting wood, and it needed to be a rush job to keep her safe.
They were really pushing me and, yes, frightening me into thinking that something devastating would happen to the roof and to my house if I didn't take care of it.
McMichael says at the time her mother was ill and her dog had recently died. She feels she was vulnerable when they told her to pay more than $47,000 in advance, which she did. She says they also tried to convince her to pay thousands more to replace her eaves troughs.
No, I haven't got the money.
McMichael signed a contract with Skycrest Roofing Experts. When we called the company, they said there was a bad connection and hung up.
Hello?
Sorry, I can't really hear you at the moment. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Other calls and emails we sent to Skycrest Roofing were not returned. The company did work on the roof, but another roofer hired by McMichael told her nails and insulation were missing and some shingles were cracked and broken and the roof needed repairs. McMichael regrets handing over almost $50,000.
I've been taken for a ride, and it's really impacted me.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
What are the 2 seasons in Toronto? Winter and construction. Wow. You really are Canadian. Yeah.
Coming up, a special honor for a special Canadian comedian recognized for his contributions to media at home or abroad. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. We managed to get inside the Beavertail Hut. Again, closing night. How do you feel, Emily, after this wonderful season?
It was really fun. It's a little sad to see it go, but I will be coming back next year, so I won't be missing out on too much.
Nope. And again, there are still other Beavertails open, just not on this canal here on 5th. So we're going to hand off one of the last few Killaloo sunrises. Enjoy! Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's getting quite chilly out in downtown Ottawa. So if you are heading out to the canal again, it closes at 10. Bundle up so you can stay warm. It's a little slushy, so maybe leave your skates at home.
Tomorrow on CTV Your Morning Ottawa, cycling season is almost here. We tell you about a great event to help you get ready to hit the roads this spring. Wake up the right way with Your Morning Ottawa starting at 6.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, Scrubs, The Masked Singer, Fear Factor, House of Fear, and Shark Tank. One final look at the forecast. We go back out to Jackie on the Rideau Canal. I don't know, Jackie, we've been doing this Ottawa's Worst Commute series. I am really not ready to see my nice, peaceful canal commute come to an end, but I guess it has to happen.
It has to happen, and it's funny. I'm actually seeing a lot more people using the pavements and the pathway. The amount of people on the ice has subsided as it gets closer. Again, closing at 10 o'clock. So you still have a few more hours. The Beavertail people, they also don't quite have a line as well. But again, still time. Looking at tomorrow's temperatures, starting things off at -2. Keep in mind, cloudy and windy conditions are in the forecast for all of our Wednesday, with the easterly winds coming in between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. But the good news is, the end of the week, Stefan, Patricia, we are anticipating double-digit temperatures on the plus side. So, yes, we're going to say goodbye to the canal tonight, but we are going to be welcoming spring for this season.
Yes. And the bike season and all of those good things. All right. Thank you so much, Jackie. She was serving up Killaloo sunrises there earlier.
Oh.
It looked really good, yeah.
She'll bring any back.
Yeah. Tried last night. Wasn't going so well. Stefan Keys is on the desk at 11:30 tonight. What is our team working on this evening?
Well, we are looking at a few things, Patricia. While the countdown to the canal's skating season is on and the ice starts to melt under these warmer conditions, many will be watching the action on the ice down at TD Place. The Ottawa Charge will take to the rink tonight, taking on the Seattle Torrent. Puck drop is in just a few minutes from now, under 2 minutes at 7 p.m. We're also monitoring an Ottawa Carleton District School Board meeting to see what we learned there. You can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca, and join us tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
Right, good stuff. Thank you. And finally for us tonight, Canadian comedian Mike Myers will receive a special honor at this year's Canadian Screen Awards to recognize his contributions to the media landscape.
Actually, my name is Austin Powers. It says here, name Danger Powers. No. Danger's my middle name.
Danger is his middle name. I was going to say that. Austin Powers, one of the many iconic characters Myers has brought to life. He was born in Toronto. Saturday Night Live alum. So good on there. That was like the Wayne and Garth and all that stuff. But he helped galvanize Canadian nationalism last year by jumping on there and putting on the shirt, Canada's Not for Sale, putting the our elbows up and all of that. So, yeah, sort of a resurgence of Mike Myers' pride. The Screen Awards ceremony set for May 31st. We'll chat with the Prime Minister there.
Well-deserved honor.
Number 51? No. Yeah, absolutely. He's hilarious. So congratulations to him. Voice of Shrek too, right?
Yeah. I'm still thinking about
Watched
Austin
that movie
Powers.
a million
Groovy,
times
baby.
back in the day. Groovy. Have a great night, everyone.